The candle has been burning so long that wax has started dripping onto the white frosting. I keep staring at it because it's easier than staring at my phone. The screen lights up for the 6th time in less than 20 minutes. For one impossible second, I think someone finally remembered. Maybe my mom. Maybe my dad. Maybe even Olivia. Instead, another photo appears. Welcome to Silent Grudge Stories, where family secrets finally come to light, and those everyone underestimated finally have a voice. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I always love seeing how far these stories travel. And if you've ever wondered what happens when the person everyone underestimated finally stops staying silent, make sure to subscribe. Because this story is only beginning. My younger sister is laughing beneath a row of glowing cafe lights, a champagne glass raised toward the camera. My parents stand beside her, smiling as if nothing in the world could possibly be wrong. Behind them, old stone buildings disappear into the evening while musicians play somewhere just outside the frame. The caption is only 4 words. Best family week ever. I don't even realize I'm holding my breath until I see the time. 11:57 p.m. 3 minutes. 3 minutes until my birthday is over. Not one call. Not one text. Not even one lazy, happy birthday sent out of obligation. Just photographs reminding me exactly where everyone I loved had chosen to be, and exactly who they had chosen to leave behind. I wish I could tell you that this was the first time my family forgot me. It wasn't. The truth is much worse, because people don't accidentally ignore someone they've loved for 34 years. Ignoring someone takes planning. It takes choices. It takes everyone agreeing that one person simply doesn't matter enough to interrupt dinner. At exactly 11:59 p.m., another notification appears. This time it's a short video. Olivia spins her phone toward our parents. Mom, smile. Diane leans against Jack's shoulder while they laugh, so hard the camera shakes. Then Olivia says something that makes my stomach tighten before I even understand why. This is officially the perfect family trip. Perfect family. 3 people. Not 4. Nobody corrects her. Nobody says my name. Nobody even hesitates. Midnight arrives while they're still laughing. The date changes. My birthday disappears. My phone stays silent. I blow out the candle myself. The apartment instantly feels colder. For a few minutes, I just sit there listening to the quiet. It's strange how silence can become loud enough to hurt. I finally carry the untouched cake into the kitchen, cutting myself one small slice simply because throwing away an entire birthday cake somehow feels even more pathetic than eating it alone. Halfway through the first bite, my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. For one hopeful second I think, maybe someone borrowed another phone because theirs died. I answer before the first ring finishes. Hello! Silence. Then the line disconnects. I stare at the screen. No voicemail. No explanation. Nothing. By 1 o'clock, sleep isn't even a possibility anymore. Instead, I begin doing something I haven't done in years. I scroll backward through old family photos. Christmas, Thanksgiving, graduations, vacation albums. Something catches my attention almost immediately. It's subtle, almost invisible. But once I notice it, I can't stop seeing it. In nearly every recent picture, Olivia stands between our parents. Not beside them, between them, as if she's slowly filled every empty space where I used to belong. I open another album. Same thing. Another. Same pattern. Then another. My chest tightens, because suddenly tonight doesn't feel isolated anymore. It feels rehearsed, like the ending of a story that started years ago without me realizing it. The next morning I wake after barely 2 hours of sleep. No missed calls. No birthday messages waiting. Nothing. At work I try pretending everything is normal. It lasts exactly 23 minutes. Madeline! I look up. My coworker, Hannah, smiles from the doorway holding her coffee. So, she tilts her head. How's your family's Europe trip? Olivia's pictures look amazing. For a moment I honestly don't know how to answer. Because that's when I realize something even more humiliating. Everyone else knew about the trip. Everyone except me. I force a smile. They looked like they were having fun. Hannah doesn't notice anything strange. She simply nods. I love the surprise your parents planned. My stomach drops. Surprise. She blinks. Wait. You didn't know? I hear my own heartbeat. No. Her smile disappears immediately. Oh. She looks genuinely uncomfortable. I just assumed. She stops talking. But it's too late, because in that single unfinished sentence, I understand something that hurts even more than being forgotten. My parents hadn't hidden the trip. They had hidden it. From me. Hannah tries to laugh it off. I'm sorry. I thought everyone knew. She walks away before I can ask another question, leaving me frozen beside my desk while the office slowly fills with keyboards clicking and phones ringing. Around me, the day moves exactly as it should. Mine doesn't. I replay her words over and over. The surprise your parents planned. Not Olivia. Not a travel agency. Not a last-minute vacation. My parents planned it. Weeks, maybe months in advance. Every reservation. Every dinner. Every smiling photograph. And somehow, through all of that planning, not one person accidentally mentioned it to me. That doesn't happen by coincidence. That takes intention. I force myself through the workday, but numbers blur together on my monitor. Every spreadsheet reminds me of something I can't stop calculating. How many times had I spoken to my mother before they left? 3. My father? Twice. Olivia had even sent me a meme 4 days earlier. None of them had slipped. None of them had almost told me. They had all protected the same secret. When I finally leave the office, I don't drive home. Instead, I park outside the neighborhood where I grew up. The house looks exactly the same. The white porch. The maple tree my father planted when Olivia was born. The kitchen window, where Mom used to wave whenever I came home from college. For years I'd looked at this house and thought it represented stability. Tonight it feels like evidence. I sit in my car for almost 20 minutes before pulling out my phone. Maybe Hannah misunderstood. Maybe there was an explanation. I open Olivia's social media again. This time I don't look at the pictures. I look at the dates. The first post appears 11 days earlier. Counting down. 3 days later. Packing day. Then another. Family adventure loading. Another. Our biggest trip yet. Every post is flooded with comments. Have an amazing time, Pattons. Your parents are adorable. Can't wait to see where you go next. Then I notice something strange. One comment catches my eye. I still can't believe you kept this from her LOL. It disappears before I can read the replies. Deleted. I stare at the empty space where it had been. My pulse begins to climb. Someone knew. Someone knew there was another person who should have been there. Someone accidentally acknowledged me. And the comment vanished. I refresh the page. Gone. Almost immediately, another story appears. Olivia is sitting at an outdoor cafe. She turns the camera toward my parents. So, she laughs. Should we finally tell everyone whose idea this trip was? Jack raises his coffee. Your mother deserves the credit. Diane grins proudly. It was worth keeping the secret. Keeping the secret. Not surprising Olivia. Not surprising relatives. Keeping the secret. The video ends. I don't even realize I've started recording my screen until it's over. Something deep inside me whispers that one day I may need proof. Not proof that they traveled. Proof of the words they casually throw away. That evening I finally call my mother. Straight to voicemail. I call my father. Voicemail. Olivia. Voicemail. 3 calls. 3 rejections. No return call. No text asking if everything is okay. Nothing. By midnight, another photo appears. This one hurts even more. A birthday dessert sits in the middle of the table. Chocolate cake. Sparklers. Everyone around them is clapping. The caption says, "Celebrating someone special tonight." I zoom in without thinking. The dessert isn't for Olivia. A small chocolate plaque sits on top. It reads, "Happy birthday, Diane." I frown. My mother's birthday isn't until October. I open the calendar. No, I'm right. It's nowhere close. Then the realization crashes into me. They ordered a fake birthday dessert. On my birthday. For someone whose birthday wasn't even happening. They celebrated a birthday while pretending mine didn't exist. I feel physically sick, not because they forgot me, because replacing me had actually become part of the celebration. The next morning, my phone finally rings. Dad! For one impossible second, hope wins. Maybe he's calling to apologize. Maybe something happened. Maybe. Madeline. Jack sounds distracted. Not guilty. Not emotional. Distracted. You busy. I close my eyes. You know what day yesterday was? A pause. Just long enough to make me think. Then. Yesterday. Another pause. No, remind me. The words land harder than any insult. 34 years. 34 birthdays. Reduced to. Remind me. I don't answer. Instead, I wait. People reveal themselves in silence, better than in arguments. Jack sighs impatiently. Listen, your mother says you've been calling. I have. We've been traveling. I noticed. Another pause. Then he laughs softly. You sound upset. Upset. As though I'd missed a dinner reservation. Not my own birthday. I finally asked the question that has been growing louder every hour. Why didn't anyone tell me about the trip? The silence this time is different. Longer. He isn't searching for an answer. He's deciding which lie to use. Finally. We didn't think you'd want to come. I gripped the phone so tightly my fingers hurt. You never asked. You've been busy. You never asked. We assumed. No. My voice is calm now. You decided. Another silence. Then his tone changes. Colder. Sharper. Madeline, don't make this into something it isn't. That sentence tells me everything. Because people who have done nothing wrong don't rush to minimize the damage. They explain. They apologize. They ask how to fix it. Jack does none of those things. Instead, he tries to convince me that my pain is the problem. And for the first time in my life, I don't believe him anymore. As I'm about to hang up, I hear Olivia laughing somewhere behind him. Then, one sentence slips through the speaker before he can mute the phone. Is she still making this about herself? The line goes dead, and in that exact moment, I stop wondering why they left me behind. I start wondering what else they've been hiding from me all these years. For the next 3 days, I don't call anyone. Not because I'm trying to punish them. Because I've spent 34 years being the first one to reach out after every argument, every misunderstanding, every awkward silence. I tell myself at this time, if my family actually cares, they'll notice I'm gone. They don't. Instead, Olivia uploads 12 more photos. A vineyard, a luxury train, a rooftop dinner, a private boat. Every image feels carefully chosen, not just to show where they've been, but to prove how complete their lives look without me. Friends flood the comments with heart emojis and congratulations. Distant cousins write that they can't wait to hear all about the trip at Thanksgiving. One comment stops me cold. Your mom deserves this after all the planning she did. Planning. That word keeps following me. I can't shake the feeling that this wasn't simply a vacation. It was an event everyone had been preparing for except the one person deliberately kept in the dark. Late Thursday afternoon, my phone vibrates with a text from someone I haven't spoken to in months. Aunt Linda. Honey, did I upset you? I stare at the message, confused. Why would you upset me? Her reply comes almost instantly. You left the family group weeks ago. I thought maybe you were angry with everyone. I read it twice, then a third time. Family group? I haven't left any family group. My fingers begin moving before my brain catches up. What family group? 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Finally, another message arrives. The vacation planning group. I assumed you left after your mother said you wanted space. The air leaves my lungs. I type slowly. Can you send me a screenshot? She doesn't answer for almost 2 minutes. Then my phone buzzes. An image appears. At first, nothing looks unusual. A messaging app. A group named Patton Family Summer. Jack. Diane. Olivia. My aunt. 2 uncles. 3 cousins. Even my grandmother. Everyone. Everyone. Except me. I zoom in until the names blur. Maybe mine is lower. Maybe. No. It isn't there. I keep scrolling through the screenshot. Reservations, flight confirmations, restaurant bookings, photos of luggage, discussions about what gifts to bring home. My father asking whether everyone had renewed their passports. My mother reminding everyone not to post pictures before departure. The oldest message is dated almost 4 months earlier. For months, for 4 entire months, my family planned the biggest vacation they'd ever taken. And not one person asked why I wasn't in the conversation. My phone rings before I can process it. It's Aunt Linda. Her voice is nervous. Madeline, sweetheart, I think I made a mistake. You didn't. I honestly thought you knew. I didn't. Silence stretches between us. Finally, she whispers, your mother told everyone you needed some distance. I frown. What? Linda sighs. She said work had changed you. That you didn't enjoy family gatherings anymore. She told us not to pressure you. Every word lands like another brick. I never said that. I know. You knew. Another pause. I thought, maybe you told her privately. I close my eyes. No. Linda's voice grows quieter. There was something else. My heart starts racing again. Tell me. Your father asked everyone not to mention the trip around you. The room suddenly feels too small. What exactly did he say? She hesitates. I don't remember every word. What do you remember? Another long silence. Then, he said, she begins carefully, that including you would only create unnecessary drama. I don't answer, because I already know that sentence. Jack had used almost the exact same words on the phone. Don't make this into something it isn't. Different conversation. Same strategy. Reduce. Dismiss. Rewrite reality. Linda continues. I never questioned it. I should have. I'm sorry. For the first time all week, someone apologizes. Not because they caused the pain. Because they finally see it. After we hang up, I sit at my kitchen table staring at the screenshot. Then something catches my attention. Near the top is a message marked as deleted. This message was removed. Normally, I would have ignored it. But underneath it, one of my cousins had replied before the deletion. Are you sure that's the right thing to do? No one ever answered him. Instead, my father changed the subject to hotel reservations. I enlarged the screenshot again. There it is. The deleted message. The unanswered concern. The abrupt change of topic. Someone in that group had objected. Someone knew this wasn't right. And whatever my father wrote, he decided it needed to disappear. That night I can't sleep. Not because I'm angry anymore. Because my entire childhood starts rearranging itself inside my head. Birthdays. Graduations. Holidays. Every memory I've spent years excusing suddenly looks different. Maybe Olivia wasn't always the favorite. Maybe my parents had simply become better at making me believe my exclusion was accidental. Around 2 a.m, another notification appears. It's not from my family. It's from an unknown account. No profile picture. No name. Just one message. You weren't supposed to find that group. I stare at the screen, my pulse pounding in my ears. Before I can reply, another message arrives. If I were you. 3 dots appear. Then disappear. Finally, the last sentence comes through. I'd start asking what else Jack made everyone hide. I don't answer the anonymous message. Not because I'm scared. Because people who want something usually keep talking if you stay quiet. 5 minutes pass. Nothing. 10. Still nothing. Then, just as I'm about to lock my phone, another notification appears. Unknown. He deleted more than one message. I type only 3 words. Who is this? The typing indicator flashes. Stops. Starts again. Finally, someone who stayed quiet too long. Before I can send another reply, the account disappears. The conversation vanishes. No profile. No username. Nothing. I immediately tried taking a screenshot. Too late. The chat is gone. I stare at my reflection in the dark kitchen window. For the first time since my birthday, my questions are changing. I'm no longer asking why I wasn't invited. I'm asking why someone inside my own family thinks I need to be warned. The next morning, I drive to Margaret Ellis's house. I haven't seen my old high school English teacher in almost 3 years. She retired long ago, but we've stayed loosely in touch ever since she wrote me a recommendation letter that helped me land my first corporate job. Margaret has always had an unusual talent. She never answers the question you ask. She answers the one you should have asked. She opens the door before I knock twice. You look exhausted. I haven't been sleeping. I can see that. She leads me inside without another word. No unnecessary sympathy. No dramatic reaction. Just tea. Silence. And enough space for me to think. I explain everything. The birthday. Europe. The family group. The deleted messages. The anonymous account. Margaret listens without interrupting once. When I finally stop talking, she asks only one question. Who benefits if you believe this started last week? I blink. What? You've spent 2 hours telling me about Europe. She folds her hands. I think Europe is only the symptom. A chill runs through me. You think something else is going on. I think, she says quietly, people rarely become this coordinated overnight. I look down at my tea. So you think they've been lying for years? I think, she replies, you should stop looking for the moment they excluded you. She pauses. And start looking for the first time they rewrote reality. That sentence follows me all the way home. The first time they rewrote reality. I unlock a closet I almost never open. Inside are old photo albums, school folders, and a plastic storage box my mother insisted I take when she cleaned out the attic years ago. I dump everything onto the living room floor. Elementary school certificates, science fair ribbons, report cards, birthday cards, boxes of photographs. At first, nothing seems unusual. Then I find an old scrapbook my mother made when I graduated high school. Every page is carefully decorated. Every achievement has captions written in her handwriting. Until one page, the page about my acceptance into college. Something feels wrong. I stare at it for several seconds before realizing why. The acceptance letter has been removed. Only the photo remains. There are faint rectangular marks where tape once held an envelope. Someone deliberately took it out. I flip through the book faster. Another page. Another missing document. Then another. Scholarship certificate. Gone. Academic award. Gone. Recommendation letter. Gone. Not torn. Not damaged. Carefully removed. Only the decorative borders remain. As if someone wanted the memories. Without the proof. I pull out my laptop. Thankfully, universities keep digital records. Within minutes, I'm downloading copies of old admissions documents I'd almost forgotten existed. When the first PDF opens, my stomach tightens. Something doesn't match. The scrapbook says I received a small academic grant. The university records show I had actually been offered a full merit scholarship. I stare at the screen. No, that's impossible. I remember working through college. Student loans. Weekend shifts. 2 jobs during senior year. Why would I have done any of that if I'd received a full scholarship? I immediately search my old email archive. It takes almost an hour. Then, I find it. The original email. Congratulations, Madeline Patton. Full tuition. Housing assistance. Book stipend. My hands begin shaking. I never used it. Why? I search further. Another email appears 3 days later. As requested, your scholarship has been declined. Declined. As requested. Accept. I never requested that. My phone rings. Mom. For the first time since my birthday. I let it ring twice before answering. Hi, sweetheart. Her voice is cheerful. Almost rehearsed. We've been trying to reach you. I glance at my call history. No missed calls. No messages. Only silence. You haven't. A tiny pause. Well, we've been busy traveling. I know. Another pause. We're home now. I don't answer. She fills the silence. Olivia feels terrible that you're upset. I almost laugh. Not because it's funny. Because she still thinks this is about Olivia. Still thinks this is about a vacation. Then she says something that makes every alarm in my head go off. We should all have dinner. Why? So we can clear up this misunderstanding. I look at the scholarship email still open on my laptop. A misunderstanding. Another familiar word. Another attempt to make reality sound smaller than it is. I ask quietly, Mom, when I got into college, who declined my scholarship? Silence. Complete silence. Not confusion. Not surprise. Recognition. Then, her voice changes. Where did you hear that? Not. What scholarship? Not. That can't be right. She skips straight to the real question. How do I know? Before I can answer, I hear another voice in the background. Jack. His words are muffled, but I hear them clearly enough. Don't tell her anything. The line suddenly goes dead. I slowly lower the phone. The Europe trip no longer matters. The forgotten birthday doesn't matter. Because sitting on my laptop is proof that someone changed the course of my entire life. And my parents weren't even surprised I found out. I don't call my mother back. For the first time in my life, I realized something unsettling. Every time I'd question my parents growing up, they had answered with another question. Why are you being so sensitive? Why would you think that? Who told you that? Never facts. Never explanations. Just enough confusion to make me doubt myself. I always thought they were better at arguing than I was. Now I understand the truth. They were better at making me question my own memory. I spend the rest of the afternoon pulling together every document I can find. Old emails, financial aid records, bank statements, tax returns. If my scholarship had really been declined without my knowledge, there had to be a paper trail somewhere. There always is. Around 5 o'clock, I find something that makes my stomach tighten. The university had mailed several reimbursement checks during my freshman year. Not to my apartment, not to my dorm, to my parents' address. I open each record. Every check shows the same status. Deposited, but I never received one. I barely have time to process it before another email arrives. This one isn't old. It's new. From the university's financial services office. Ms. Patton, we've located archived authorization records connected to your account. Some documents require identity verification before we can release them. Identity verification. There are more documents. Much more. I booked the earliest appointment available. Tomorrow morning. At exactly 7:18 p.m., someone knocks on my apartment door. Not rings. Knocks. 3 slow, deliberate taps. I look through the peephole. Jack. Alone. No flowers. No birthday gift. No apology. Just the same leather jacket he's worn for years, and the expression that used to make me nervous when I was a teenager. I unlock the door but don't invite him inside. What are you doing here? He smiles, almost amused. You're really going to make your father stand in the hallway? I'm asking why you're here. His smile fades slightly. Diane is worried. No. I shake my head. She's worried I started asking questions. His jaw tightens for the first time. Can we not do this out here? We can do it right here. For a few seconds, neither of us speaks. He's studying me, trying to figure out whether this version of me is temporary. Whether, with enough pressure, I'll become the daughter who apologized first. I don't. Finally he sighs. This whole scholarship thing. There wasn't a scholarship. I say nothing. It was a misunderstanding. Again. That word. Misunderstanding. Almost every lie in my family eventually became a misunderstanding. I fold my arms. So explain it. His eyes drift briefly toward the apartment behind me. I'm not discussing family business in a hallway. You seem comfortable discussing it everywhere else. His eyebrows pull together. What does that mean? It means everyone knew about Europe except me. Silence. It means there was a family group I wasn't part of. Another silence. It means someone deleted messages. He says nothing. And now, I continue quietly, I've discovered a scholarship that somehow disappeared. His patience begins to crack. You've always had a talent for making connections that don't exist. I almost smile. Not because it's clever, because it's predictable. He isn't denying the facts. He's attacking my interpretation of them. I learned that strategy from him. I just never realized it. He takes one slow step closer. Madeline. His voice softens. The same tone he used whenever I was little and scared. I know you're hurt. You don't. I do. No. I meet his eyes. If you understood, you would have started with happy birthday. For the first time since he arrived, he has no response. His mouth opens, then closes. A tiny crack appears in the confidence he's carried all evening. He genuinely forgot. Not just the date, the fact that forgetting mattered. He clears his throat. We can fix this. No. What do you mean, no? You can explain it. His face hardens again. I don't owe you an explanation for every decision your mother and I made. The sentence hangs between us. Every decision. Not one decision. Every. I catch it immediately. So there were decisions. His eyes flicker. Just for a fraction of a second. But it's enough. He realizes what he admitted. He changes direction instantly. You've been talking to people. I have. Who? Does it matter? It does if someone's filling your head with nonsense. My head isn't the problem. His voice sharpens. Who have you been talking to? There it is. The real reason he came. Not to apologize. Not to reconnect. To find the leak. Someone inside the family had spoken. And that frightened him more than losing me. I think you should leave. He doesn't move. I'm your father. I know. You don't get to dismiss me. I just did. His face flushes. For a second I see something I've never seen before. Not anger. Not disappointment. Uncertainty. Because this conversation isn't following the script. Usually by now I'd already be crying. Already apologizing. Already trying to keep the peace. Instead, I'm standing perfectly still. Jack finally exhales through his nose. You've always been stubborn. I shake my head. No. I've always been obedient. Another silence. The difference is, I slowly step backward toward my apartment. I'm done confusing those two things. I close the door before he can answer. My phone buzzes almost immediately. Unknown number. Again. One new message. Did he ask who told you? I freeze. Whoever is texting me knows Jack was here. Before I can reply, another message appears. Good. Then one more. He's panicking earlier than I expected. I type quickly. Who are you? No response. Instead, a single photo arrives. It's old. Blurry. Taken inside what looks like a university administration office. A man is standing at a counter. He's signing paperwork. His face isn't completely visible. But I recognize the leather jacket instantly. Jack. The timestamp in the corner reads, 16 years ago. I don't sleep. The photograph stays open on my laptop until sunrise. Jack is standing at a university counter, one hand pressed against a stack of documents while an administrator points toward a signature line. The image is grainy, taken from across the room, but it's unmistakably him. The date in the corner is from 16 years ago, the exact week I was supposed to finalize my enrollment. If that picture is real, then my father didn't simply know about my scholarship. He was physically there. He became part of whatever happened. The question isn't whether he lied anymore. It's how many people helped him do it. At 8:30 the next morning, I walk into the university's records office carrying a folder that suddenly feels too light for everything I need it to answer. A woman in her 50s greets me with a professional smile. You must be Miss Patton. I nod. She disappears into a back office and returns carrying a thick archive box. Much thicker than I expected. She places it gently on the table. We located everything that remained in storage. Everything. The word makes my pulse quicken. She leaves me alone. Inside the box are admissions forms, housing agreements, financial aid records, orientation schedules. Then I see it. A yellow envelope labeled authorization documents. I open it carefully. The first page is my scholarship acceptance. The second is a withdrawal request. My eyes move straight to the signature. Madeline Patton. Except, it isn't mine. At first glance, it almost looks convincing. The same looping M. The same long tail on the Y. But I've signed my name thousands of times. This version hesitates where mine never does. The letters are too careful. Too practiced. Someone studied my signature. Someone copied it. Someone failed. My breathing becomes shallow. I flip to the next page. Attached to the authorization is a photocopy of a driver's license. Mine. Except, The photograph isn't from when I was 18. It's from when I renewed my license years later. I stare at it, confused. That can't be possible. This paperwork predates that license by almost 6 years. Which means one thing. The file wasn't simply altered once. Someone accessed it again later. A knock interrupts my thoughts. The records officer steps back into the room. Have you found what you were looking for? I slowly turn the forged signature toward her. I didn't sign this. She studies it for only a few seconds. Then something changes in her expression. Not surprise. Recognition. She lowers her voice. I thought you might say that. Every muscle in my body tenses. You've seen this before. She hesitates, glancing toward the open office behind her. I shouldn't discuss other students. I'm not asking about other students. Another pause. I'm asking whether you've seen parents trying to change records. Her answer comes almost immediately. Yes. Not occasionally. Not once. Just, yes. She folds her hands. That's why these authorizations now require in-person verification. Because of cases like mine? She doesn't answer directly. Instead, she says, policies don't change without reasons. Before leaving, she hands me one final document. I almost forgot. It's an old visitor log. Every person entering the financial aid office had signed in. I scan the names. Students. Parents. Counselors. Then, there it is. Jack Patton. Purpose of visit. Financial aid documentation. Time. 10:14 a.m. Exactly 32 minutes before the withdrawal request was submitted. No speculation. No assumptions. Just timestamps. Paper. Ink. Facts. When I walk outside, the summer air feels strangely cold. My phone vibrates before I even reach my car. Diane. I let it ring. She calls again. And again. On the 4th attempt, she leaves a voicemail. Madeline, please call me. Her voice sounds different. Not guilty. Afraid. You've misunderstood some things. Misunderstood. Another familiar word. She never says, we're sorry. She never says, we need to explain. Only, you've misunderstood. As though reality itself has become negotiable. I start the engine. Before pulling away, another notification appears. Unknown number. Again. Did they show you the signature? I don't respond. Another message arrives. Look at the visitor log. Too late. I already have. The sender knew exactly what the university still had on file. They aren't guessing anymore. They're guiding me, which means they've seen these records before. Halfway home, Daniel Foster calls. We've worked together for almost 4 years. He's one of the few people in finance who speaks only when he has something worth saying. Madeline. His voice is calm. Are you busy? A little. I need 10 minutes. Something about his tone makes me pull into a parking lot. What's wrong? I received a phone call this morning. My stomach tightens. From who? A man who introduced himself as Jack Patton. Every sound around me disappears. What did he want? Daniel hesitates. He asked if you'd been acting unstable lately. I gripped the steering wheel. He said you were under a lot of emotional pressure. Another pause. He wanted to know if I'd noticed unusual behavior. The blood drains from my face. He called my workplace. He called me personally. Daniel continues carefully. I told him your work has been exceptional. I can't speak. He asked whether you had access to sensitive financial information. Now my heart is pounding so hard I can hear it. He was trying to discredit me. I thought so. Daniel's voice becomes firmer, which is why I wanted to warn you before someone else heard that conversation. I stare through the windshield. The scholarship, the family group, the forged signature. Now this. Jack isn't trying to explain the past. He's preparing for the future. He's already laying the foundation to make me look unreliable if I speak. After we hang up, I sit motionless for several minutes. Then a memory surfaces. Not dramatic. Not obvious. Just strange. When I was 19, my parents insisted I see a therapist after I confronted them about money. I only went twice. The therapist barely asked questions. Most of the sessions focused on whether I often imagined things incorrectly, whether I exaggerated conflict, whether my memory could be trusted. At the time, I thought it was normal. Now, I'm no longer sure it was meant to help me. As I pull back onto the road, my phone buzzes one last time. Unknown number. A single sentence. You're finally asking the right questions. Then, one final message appears. The therapist wasn't your idea either. I read the last message 3 times. The therapist wasn't your idea either. Then the chat disappears. Just like every conversation with the anonymous sender. No account. No history. No way to answer. Only another piece of my life that suddenly feels rewritten. I pull into my apartment parking lot, but don't get out. Instead, I search my email for the therapist's name. Nothing. No appointment confirmations. No invoices. No insurance claims. Strange. I know I went. I remember the waiting room. The beige walls. The aquarium in the corner. The stale coffee. So why is there no record? Then I remember something. I was 19. Still on my parents' insurance. They would have received every bill. Every statement. Every appointment notice. I wasn't the patient. At least, not on paper. By the time I reach my apartment, I'm no longer reacting emotionally. I'm building a timeline. I tape sheets of paper across my dining room wall. Scholarship. Family vacation. Deleted messages. Forged signature. Daniel's phone call. Therapist. One by one, the events begin connecting. Not randomly. Like pieces of the same machine. Every time I started becoming independent, something happened. When I earned the scholarship, it disappeared. When I questioned family finances, I suddenly needed therapy. When I discovered the truth about Europe, my father immediately contacted my colleague to question my mental stability. Different years. Same strategy. Control. The doorbell rings. Not a knock this time. One long press. Then another. I already know who it is before looking. Olivia. She stands in the hallway, wearing expensive sunglasses pushed onto her head, still carrying the effortless confidence that's followed her entire life. She smiles the moment I open the door. There you are. I don't return the smile. What do you want? She sighs dramatically. Can we stop acting like this? I wasn't aware we were acting. She laughs softly. You've always been so intense. The same sentence she's used since childhood. Whenever I cried. Whenever I confronted her. Whenever I noticed something wasn't fair. I was never right. I was intense. Without waiting for permission, she walks into my apartment. Her eyes immediately land on the papers covering my wall. The timeline. The dates. The documents. Her smile disappears. What is all this? My life. She turns toward me. You've completely lost perspective. No. I finally found it. For several seconds, she simply stares. Then she shakes her head. I told Mom this would happen. What would happen? That you'd take everything personally. I almost laugh. My birthday. Our family lying to me. My scholarship. She folds her arms. Oh my God. There it is. What? The victim speech. Victim. Another familiar word. Not daughter. Not sister. Victim. Another label designed to make every question sound irrational. I walk to the wall and pull down one page. The visitor log. I hand it to her. Read it. She barely glances at it. I don't need to. You don't. No. Why? Because whatever you're trying to prove. She shrugs. It won't change anything. Those words hit harder than she realizes. Not because they're cruel. Because they sound rehearsed. As though she's known for a long time that the truth existed, and had already decided it didn't matter. I study her face carefully. For the first time since this began, I stop seeing my little sister. Instead, I see someone protecting the same story as my parents, which means there's only one question left. How long have you known? Her expression changes. Only slightly, but enough. She answers too quickly. I don't know what you're talking about. How long? I said I don't know. You knew I wasn't invited to Europe. Silence. You knew about the family group. Silence. You knew Dad contacted Daniel. Now she looks genuinely surprised. What? I don't answer. Because that reaction wasn't fake. She didn't know about Daniel. Interesting. So even inside the family, information is compartmentalized. Jack doesn't tell everyone everything. He tells each person only what they need to know. Olivia regains her composure. This is getting unhealthy. No. I shake my head. What's unhealthy is realizing my own family coordinated lies better than vacations. She rolls her eyes. You always make things bigger. I don't have to. I point toward the wall. You already did. Her phone buzzes. She glances down instinctively. For less than a second. But it's enough. The screen lights up. One notification. Dad calling. She immediately turns the phone over. Too late. I already saw it. He knows you're here. She doesn't answer. He sent you. Still nothing. I take one slow step closer. Did he tell you what to say? Or only what not to admit? For the first time, Olivia looks nervous. Real nervous. She grabs her purse. I should go. So that's it. She heads toward the door. You fly across Europe pretending I don't exist. Then come here to tell me I'm overreacting? She reaches for the handle. Without turning around, she says quietly, You don't understand what Dad's trying to protect. The sentence escapes before she can stop it. She freezes. Slowly, she looks back at me. She knows she said too much. What is he protecting? No answer. Olivia. Silence. What is he protecting? She opens the door. I shouldn't have come. She leaves. 30 seconds later, my phone vibrates. Not from the anonymous sender. From Aunt Linda. Only 4 words. Check your front porch. I frown. I open the door. Olivia's car is already disappearing down the street. At my feet sits a plain brown envelope. No stamp. No name. Just one sheet of paper inside. At the top, a law firm's letterhead. Below it, one sentence highlighted in yellow. The original beneficiary designation was amended at the request of Jack Patton. My eyes move to the date. It isn't from 16 years ago. It isn't from college. It isn't connected to my scholarship. It's from 3 months before my grandmother died. I read the highlighted sentence over and over. The original beneficiary designation was amended at the request of Jack Patton. Not approved by. Not witnessed by. At the request of. The date is 3 months before my grandmother died. My grandmother wasn't wealthy enough to leave behind millions. But she owned something far more important to her than money. Control over a family trust she had built after my grandfather passed away. A trust she always said would be divided fairly. I suddenly remember something she whispered to me during her last Thanksgiving. Sometimes the people smiling the most at dinner are already negotiating what happens after I'm gone. At the time, I laughed. Now, I wonder if she wasn't joking at all. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I call the law firm listed on the letter the moment they open the following morning. The receptionist transfers me to an attorney named Rebecca Lawson. Her voice is careful from the start. Miss Patton, I can confirm your grandmother was a client. I receive a document with your firm's letterhead. I understand. I need to know why my father's name appears on it. A long pause follows. I'm afraid I can't discuss confidential estate matters over the phone. I was named in the document. Another pause. I'll need proof of identity. I can be there in 30 minutes. Rebecca is waiting when I arrive. She doesn't waste time with small talk. After verifying my identification, she slides a thick folder across the conference table. This file has remained sealed until today. I open it carefully. The first pages describe my grandmother's estate. Nothing unusual. Then I reach a section labeled Original Beneficiary Instructions. My name appears first. Olivia second. Exactly as Grandma had always described. Equal. Fair. I turn another page. Stapled behind it is a later amendment. The percentages are different. Mine has been reduced dramatically. Olivia's increased. At the bottom sits another authorization. Requested by Jack Patton. Approved under temporary authority. I look up. My grandmother agreed to this. Rebecca doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she slides one final document toward me. A handwritten letter. Still folded. The paper has yellowed with age. Across the front, my name. In my grandmother's handwriting. She never sent it. My hands shake as I unfold it. Madeline, if you're reading this, then something happened that I feared for a very long time. I stopped breathing. Your father convinced me he could manage the trust temporarily because my health was declining. I believed I was protecting both of my granddaughters. I keep reading. A few weeks later, I realized documents had been changed that I never intended to change. My eyes blur. By the time I understood what had happened, I was too sick to fight everyone around me. The next sentence breaks something inside me. If Jack ever tells you these changes were my decision, do not believe him. I carefully place the letter back onto the table. Rebecca watches quietly. I've waited 6 years for someone to ask for this file. You expected me? No. She shakes her head. I expected someone. As I leave the office, my phone starts ringing. Jack. I let it ring. He calls again. Then Diane. Then Olivia. Then Jack once more. I answer on the 5th attempt. His voice is tense before I even speak. Where are you? Why? You've been asking questions. I have. Stop. Just one word. Stop. No explanation. No denial. Only fear. I look across the parking lot. For the first time in my life, my father sounds like a man who knows the truth is moving faster than he can. You alter Grandma's trust. Silence. Long enough to confirm everything. Finally, I did what was best for this family. No. You did what was best for Olivia. His breathing grows heavier. You don't understand the pressure I was under. There it is. What? The first excuse. I'm not making excuses. You haven't apologized once. His voice hardens. You think one letter tells you the whole story? No. I think your reaction does. Another silence. Then, come home. I look down at the letter in my hands. Home. The place where every uncomfortable truth had always been rewritten into a misunderstanding. I don't think I have one anymore. I end the call. That afternoon, I meet Aunt Linda. She looks older than I remember. Not because time has passed, because guilt has. The moment she sits down, she slides a small recorder across the cafe table. I should have given this to you years ago. What is it? The last conversation I ever had with your grandmother. I stare at it. She asked me to keep it. Why now? Linda's eyes fill with tears. Because I spent 6 years believing your father would eventually tell you the truth. She shakes her head. He never did. I never need to play the recording. Not there. Not then. I already know enough. The scholarship, the forged signature, the family lies, the vacation, the trust. None of them were isolated events. They were chapters of the same story, a story built on one simple rule. As long as I kept doubting myself, no one would ever have to answer for what they'd done. 3 weeks later, I move into a new apartment. New phone number. New routines. Not because I'm hiding. Because peace deserves its own address. My parents continue calling. At first every day. Then every week. Eventually, only on holidays. I never block them. I simply stop living in a way that requires their approval. Olivia sends one final message. I never thought it would go this far. I read it once, then delete it. Because some distances aren't created by miles. They're created by choices. The last thing I take out of the moving box is the tiny birthday candle that never finished burning. I hold it for a moment before dropping it into the trash. Not because I've forgotten that night, but because I finally understand what it really gave me. My family thought leaving me out of one celebration would make me feel smaller. Instead, it forced me to uncover every lie they had spent decades building. And in the end, the only person they truly managed to exclude was themselves from the rest of my life.